The information that I am about to share with you in this video is information that I wish that I knew and applied a couple of years ago when I was in my perfectionist era. 0 out of 10, don't recommend. Hello lovelies, welcome back to Peace in the Mix with me, Portia Payton. If you are new here, Peace in the Mix is a channel specifically for life chats about lessons learned, never-ending growth, and of course, some self-love. If that is your vibe and you enjoy hanging out with me, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. What is a perfectionist? A perfectionist is someone who refuses to accept any standard less than perfection. I'm gonna list a few signs that may indicate that you might be a perfectionist. The first indicator I'm gonna share is believing that your worth is tied to your achievements and your productivity. If you really think about that, what? I have come to learn that we are all inherently worthy just because we are here. We exist, there it is, there you go. But I was somebody for a long time who subconsciously tied my worthiness to my achievements. I have always been a high achiever. I have always wanted to set goals, like really high goals, and I've always had extremely high expectations of myself. That goes into indicator number 2. You have extremely unrealistic expectations for yourself and maybe even other people. What I mean by an extreme expectation is expecting yourself not to make mistakes, expecting yourself to not fail, expecting yourself to get things right the first time, expecting yourself to be good at something without any practice, without any consistency, expecting your talents alone to launch you to whatever you're trying to accomplish. This could even go down to your emotional health, like expecting yourself to never lose your shit no matter what's going on. I mean, that's a pretty decent expectation, but there has to be some room there where, yeah, you can lose your shit sometimes in a respectful, healthy way. Don't be out here impulsive and doing things you regret and saying things you can't take back now. You need to have some sort of self-restraint, but you also need to give yourself some wiggle room to fall apart. Even if you fall apart behind closed doors, do that. Indicator number 3, quick to find fault in yourself and overcritical of your own mistakes. If you did not exceed your expectations that were set in indicator number 2, you probably were extremely hard on yourself, like your worst critic, just tomato, just completely not supportive of yourself and basically thinking that something's wrong with you for not exceeding your expectations. That ain't it. Indicator number 4, you procrastinate because of the fear of failure. So in your mind, you may want to accomplish something, but your idea of it, because it has to be perfect and it has to go your way, whatever way you feel is perfect. If you don't have the means or you can't figure out the how to get to that point, you probably just won't even start. You probably just, like, if you want something for yourself, but you cannot see how you're gonna get there and you don't have any indicator of what each step is, 1, 2, 3, instead of just starting and figuring it out as you go, you won't even do it because each step has to be perfect for you. It has to be no mistakes, it has to be getting it right on the first time, it has to be doing extremely well, and it has to be letting your talent just show up for you and doing what it do. But if you feel like you can't do that, 9 times out of 10, you'll procrastinate and just make excuses because you don't have everything thought out yet and you just can't get yourself to even imagine being seen trying to do something if it isn't perfect. That's just a no, like that's a what? No, I gotta have this. It all has to be quality, it all has to be in order, it all has to be going like this. Otherwise, you will not do it because in your mind, I am a perfectionist. It has to be this way or the highway. Girl. Indicator number 5, you don't take compliments well. It's like hard for you to receive them and you possibly don't really celebrate your success because nothing is ever enough. There were times where it really was hard for me to receive a compliment. I don't know. And there were also times where it was hard to celebrate myself because I just felt like, well, I gotta do something else. I gotta keep, what next? I gotta keep going, I I just gotta keep going. None of that is healthy, baby. But it's okay if you experienced it. Like I said, I experienced like basically all of that stuff. I mean, how would you know unless you go through it, right? It's okay. It's all about recognizing what's happening, what's going on, being self-aware. And then once you realize what's going on, you can start to figure out where this is stemming from so that you can make those changes, so that you can start enjoying your life and just being lighter and softer and not so hard on yourself and being your own best friend instead of your own worst critic. That's the goal. Recognizing this so that we can improve, not to beat up on ourselves, but so that we can just enjoy ourselves more, so that we can enjoy a better quality of life starting from the inside out. There are some advantages to being a perfectionist, because being a perfectionist has, especially in my teenage years and my early 20s, it really made me goal oriented. Like I was always trying to accomplish something, achieve something. It benefited me because I would say when I was in high school, they had a bunch of scholarship opportunities and all you had to do was write an essay, like submit an essay and apply. This is back in the day, like I want to say 2010, 2011. They had the scholarship opportunities on a billboard in the downstairs area of the school. So I would see it and I would get the information and then I just submitted my essays. I always wanted to do my best at whatever I was putting my mind to. So I made sure I wrote the best essays that I could, and I ended up getting a lot of those scholarships. I won an award at school for getting the most scholarships in my senior class because I just decided to submit my essays and apply. That felt really good. I felt like, okay, yes. I even went through a college prep program in San Francisco and I was dedicated to that for years. I wanted to do really good work and I did, and they ended up also giving me a scholarship for college. So I didn't have to take out loans for college because I was dedicated to being my best, to making sure I did quality work and submitting essays and winning scholarships. It worked. That's how I would say being a perfectionist benefited me in that time of my life, because that drive really did push me to get my college completely paid for. Like I had 0 loans. So I really like that aspect of me that's ambitious and that wants to do quality work and that wants to put my best foot forward and that wants to be proud of whatever I'm creating and working on. I love that part of me, but I had to give myself some wiggle room so that I could enjoy the process and not be so hard on myself and not stop myself from even trying because I couldn't figure out how to make each step perfect. No. Life is about enjoying, life is about living, trying new things, and not taking yourself so seriously. I have always been somebody who has always taken myself so serious and always super responsible and always just wanting to just, you know, but now that I have a bunch of life experience and I can see all I was lacking was just a little bit more balance when it came to taking that leap and trying new things. It was doing it but not being so hard on myself while I do it, and just enjoying the learning aspect of it that comes whenever you try something for the first time, or whenever you're working towards something, or whenever you're trying to get better at something and you show up for yourself consistently week after week, just enjoying that learning curve that's going to be there. The balance would be, for me, not letting my self-worth be tied up into trying to accomplish something. That was the biggest shift that I had to make in my mindset, but I had to actually recognize that that's what was going on. Trying to be this high achiever because I had that correlation in my mind that, oh, if I'm a high achiever, I'm worthy. My existence is worthy. A lot of this type of thinking can stem from early stages, like your developmental stages. It could be cultural expectations, family expectations, just societal expectations. Growing up, I was expected to excel. It was almost like proving a point, like we are good enough. And I talk to a lot of my friends now who are also getting out of that type of thinking. You subconsciously do it because you're trying to prove, no, I am worthy to have a voice. I am worthy of existing. Look at how well I'm performing. Look at what I can achieve. Trying to like break stereotypes, trying to just be the exceptions to the rule. And so you just over excel. I went to a predominantly Asian and Caucasian high school. I want to say the school was probably 10% Black Americans or people of color. I was just expected to do well. You want to show that we are complex, we are dynamic, we're amazing. All of that is true, but I would like to challenge that type of thinking and just get us back into remembering that we really are worthy exactly how we are, regardless of who believes that or not, and enjoy committing to excellence because you're curious about how far you could take it, not because you're trying to prove that you're worthy of being here. Have you ever heard that saying, like, if you don't have a purpose, you're wasting air? I think that is extremely harsh, and I think that that's not true. Some of us don't know our purpose yet. Some of us think you have a purpose, and some of us have multiple purposes, but just trying to live up to these standards that other people are setting. Why? Why can't you just get curious about how well you can perform at something, curious about your capabilities, instead of putting these expectations on yourself because you don't think you're good enough if you don't. Being a perfectionist can also stem from just wanting to be in control so that you can avoid any negative consequence that comes from making a mistake. Mistakes are not something to be feared. Sometimes you can think that depending on like how you were raised, or like I said, cultural expectations, family expectations, societal expectations. But mistakes are part of the process, and they should be welcomed and they should be encouraged, especially when you're trying something and you are trying to get good at it, or you're learning and you need to make mistakes because that's the best way to learn. Being afraid of mistakes and trying to avoid negative consequences from mistakes is completely unrealistic, because you're not enjoying life at that point. You're anxious because you just have to be in control. Things have to go your way. You gotta loosen up a little, baby. Oh my God. My legs keep falling asleep on me. So now I would like to discuss how to work towards overcoming being a perfectionist. The first thing that I want you to do is start to set realistic goals for yourself. Make sure it's baby step goals. Tackle one thing at a time. Don't try to overdo it, because I don't want you to be hard on yourself if you cannot meet that goal. And be lenient. And if something comes up, have some wiggle room. Pivot, adjust, try again. Committing to what you said you were gonna do is a beautiful form of discipline, and it's cool because now you have your word, and now you can begin to rely on yourself and build that self-trust and that self-confidence. Set goals that you know that you can meet. And what I mean by set realistic goals is to just evaluate your situation and be realistic about what you can actually commit to, the time you can commit to something. That way there's less pressure and you can still have fun while you're working towards whatever goal you set. It should be fun. Even if you don't feel like doing it, at least you can set that time for yourself that you know you can commit to, instead of having way too high expectations of yourself and then not doing it and then being disappointed. Baby steps. Set small, realistic goals and tackle them. I'll give you an example. The month of June, my goal was to put one video out every single week, and I did that. That was a realistic goal that I could do for myself because of my schedule, and because I still want to have a balanced life. I still want to hang out with people that I love. One video a week worked for me. Eventually, I do want to get up to about 3 or more videos a week, but right now we are just going to keep it simple. And to celebrate that accomplishment, I am going to go hang out with somebody that I adore and love, and we are just going to enjoy the sun, go near the ocean water, and have a couple of drinks and just bask in the fact that I committed to something that I said I wanted to do, and I showed up for myself. Boom, bada boom, bada boom. Ooh, I can taste that margarita now. Just kidding. I am not really a margarita girl. I'm more so a tequila, tequila, tequila. Set realistic goals, accomplish them, repeat. Keep going. The next thing I recommend is to appreciate times of rest and restoration. You have to rest. This is me talking to younger self me. If I had a me in my life and I could have talked to my younger self, I would have told 24-year-old Portia, you gotta rest, babe. Just because you are not productive every single hour of the day does not mean that you are not worthy. When I think of some of the beliefs that I had subconsciously, I'm like, this is crazy work. How was I surviving like this? But like I said, you have to live through certain things and go through them so that you know what that feels like, and then you can pivot and make better choices for yourself so that you can enjoy a better quality of life. Because that is what we are trying to do, honey. We are trying to live it up and be happy and enjoy our life as much as possible. That is the end goal, a life well lived, a life that you wake up enjoying every day. But it starts in here and in here. You also should have compassion as you are setting these goals, these more realistic goals for yourself, as you're accomplishing them, as you are working through learning curves, as you rinse and repeat. Have compassion for the whole process. Don't take yourself so serious. Just enjoy what you're doing. That's it. don't worry about the outcome. That took me a very long time to grasp and accept. Let it go, throw it up, let it go, have faith, and be okay with whatever happens, because you know you did try, and that's all that matters. And make sure you congratulate yourself for even trying. That's a big deal. I hope that today's video was helpful to you in some way, shape, or form. I had a wonderful time hanging out with you. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. Please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, or if you lasted this long, go ahead and put 2 hands in the air in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.